morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our class today. Today we'll be doing English language. About action words like verbs in a sentence. And these verbs has to be in a passive construction in a sentence. Verbs in a sentence. Just like the way I said before, I said active and passive sentences are active. They are action words in a sentence. And we know that action words are the verbs in a sentence. Now let's look at A. The first sentence there is that the boy kicked the ball. Another example.
The driver drove the car.
The driver drove
The car.
the car. Another example of active and passive sentence.
Then they broke the glass cup.
Dende, that's a name, broke
The glass cup.
the glass cup. Right?
Yes.
Now another example.
The teacher punished the boy.
The teacher punished the boy. Is that correct?
Yes.
So is that all? Do you have any more example?
Yes.
Yes, that is A, B, C, D, and E. Yes?
The brave boy killed the snake.
The brave boy
Killed the snake.
killed the
Snail.
snake. Good. Do you still have any more example? I think that is all for now. So we are going to look at the active and passive sentence here to observe the action word there. Now, look at this sentence. The boy kicked the ball. Normally, I usually advise my students to always create a tabular form in order to differentiate the subject from the object. Now, from this subject, it will be easy for us to identify the verbs. Now, under this object, we are going to also classify what we know as the verb. Now, the first sentence. The boy kicked the ball. Now, why do I do it like this? The reason I always do it like this is for easy identification. Now, if I put it in a tabular form this way, I know what the subject is, I know what the object is. I know under the object you have the verb and the predicates. Now, all these, both the verb and predicate, are regarded as the objects. But the standalone one is the boy. The boy kicked the ball. Kick there is the action word. Now, being the action word, it is regarded as what? An active sentence. When we add it up together with the predicate, adding the verb to the predicate, it becomes an active sentence. This way, together, this becomes an active sentence, which means on its own it makes a meaning. Kick the ball. It is active because of the action word that is there. What is the action word there again? Kicked. Now let's try a better explanation. The driver drove the car. We are going to do it the same way. The driver drove the car. Now, looking at this clearly, we can understand that the driver is the subject. Drove is the action word there. The car is the object. Now, in order to identify the active sentence there, we will first of all look for the verb. The verb in that sentence is drove. Because without this drove, we cannot know what actually the driver is doing. Now, drove simply means that the driver was driving a car. Drove is a past tense of drive, isn't it? Now, the driver drove the car. Now, if you are adding these two together, it becomes an active or passive sentence. So we can say, drove the car. There is an action there. While this one standing alone is what? The driver. So I'm now going to give you C, D, and E. You can actually do that on your own. Can somebody tell me? Then they drove the glass cup. What is the subject in this first sentence? Then they broke the glass cup. Class, anybody?
Then they
Then they is what?
is the subject.
This is the subject. Broke is what?
Is the verb.
Is the verb. The glass cup is the what?
The object.
So if we put broke the glass cup, it becomes what?
Active sentence.
Very good. Please clap for yourself. We call it a wrap for today. I hope you join us in continuation of our next class, which is just going to be 5 more minutes. To the second part of the class. Today we are doing our continuation of active and passive sentences. Let me do a roundup of the active sentences. That is what we just did. We talked about the action words, the words that actually gives us more meaning in a sentence. So that is the active one. Now we also talked about the transitive verbs. We gave some examples. Now we are quickly going to look at passive verbs. What are passive verbs? These are going to be explained in a constructive way. How do you explain that? Now, in this situation, attention is paid more to the receiver than who? The subject. We are going to take some example, like the ball was kicked. Is that not so?
Yeah.
The ball was kicked. Now, if you look at it, we did it initially when we were doing our active sentences. We said the ball was kicked. Kicked there is what? The action word. Now, this time around, we are changing it by the ball. So here, this particular one in brackets is our passive, because it's the receiver of this sentence. Now, this, even if we remove this, it's still going to make a lot of sense. Robbers. You can see now, the man was killed. This is active, right? We know that. But this time around, we're dealing with passive, where more attention is paid to the receiver under the object. Now, by the armed robbers. So that is it. So the performer here, which is the subject, is not actually being observed very much. I'm going to give you a take-home assignment. So our assignment for today on this, you can do it on your own. You are going to turn the sentence from active to passive. And also, I'm going to show you the other way around. So the first example is number 1. Audu closed the door quickly. This is an active verb. You are going to change it to a passive, just as we did this. Now let's look at turning the sentence from passive to active. So I'm just going to give you 2 assignments. So it says, we were driven to the exhibition by the teacher. We were driven to the exhibition by the teacher. So that is our take-home assignment. So I look forward to seeing you in my next class, and I I hope you understand all we did quickly today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You're free to call me. If you're in Nigeria, you can call Emmanuel Institute on 090-5764-1203. If you are outside Nigeria, you're in China, you're in an Arabic country, wherever you are, you want to learn English, we can have a scheduled time to learn English. You can call Emmanuel Institute on +234 9057 64 1203. Thank you. Have a nice day.